We're just 92 days away from the 2024 general election. Good afternoon and welcome to Election Brief. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, on all our social media platforms and around the world at myjoyonline.com. Election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Also brought to you by German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, as well as Chopbox Technologies, a convenience service, and Youth Breed Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development. My name is Faustina Safo. Please stay for details. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Thanks for choosing us. Now we start with the Coalition of Domestic Observers, CODEO, because they say they have identified discrepancies in the data contained in the Provisional Voters Register as compared to what the Electoral Commission made available and what the National Democratic Congress is also reporting. As the EC prepares to engage all actors at the Inter-Party Advisory Committee meeting later this afternoon, CODEO is urging the EC to take steps that will effectively address the issues. Speaking on the sidelines of a media dialogue organized by ECOWAS in Accra, Programs Director at CDD in charge of election security, Paul Mensah Brampa, expressed hopes that today's meeting will help resolve all challenges.
NDC does is that NDC has taken it further to also have a team that scrutinizes the processes and draw the attention of the Electoral Commission that, look, these are the differences we are having. How do we resolve it? And the Electoral Commission made a press statement to corroborate what the NDC has said and have also identified steps they are putting in place to resolve. That's the beauty of the electoral process. But if the NDC saw it and they decided to take it as a trump card, they will not reveal to anybody, but they will act on it, then that would have been difficult for us to have a resolution. Conflict and violence could be resolved when you know the challenge of parties. So I thank the NDC for always making their what they identify on the process public and demanding answers from the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission also resolving to provide antidote to whatever challenge they come up with. So the electoral process comes with electoral register compilation come in processes, compilation of the register, exhibition, and correction of the system. So this is one of the processes that I think the Electoral Commission will adopt to make sure that it purges the register to have correct data ahead of the election.
And from the perspective of CODEO, is everything okay? What key issues would you want to address before the election?
No, so in electoral processes, we can't have everything 100% okay, as I said. But the readiness of the stakeholder to resolve the challenges identified, it's what makes the process move forward. So yes, we've identified the challenges. The challenge itself, we are not happy that there's a challenge, but we are happy that there are steps in place to resolve it. Yeah, so the challenge was that there were discrepancies in the data in the register as compared to what the Electoral Commission gave and what the NDC also had. The Electoral Commission provided answer that there was a mistake on compiling previous transfer data and adding it to what we have here. And because the challenge has been identified, they are going to purge the register, and after they do the corrections on all identified challenges through the exhibition, we'll have a clear register.
Have you notified as CODEO?
No, CODEO also has our resource. I was just reading the exhibition reports, and it highlighted some of these challenges. But in all these challenges that we highlight, they are not challenges that are infinite. They are not challenges that cannot be resolved. They are challenges. So that's why I said it's one thing identifying the challenges, and one thing presenting the challenge to the authority, appropriate authority to resolve, and one thing for the authority to accept to resolve it. So I'm happy that the challenges have been identified. That's first point. And I'm also happy that the Electoral Commission has accepted responsibility and provided some avenues or the steps that is taking to resolve the challenges. My message in Ghana is that elections come with challenges. We are not perfect in democracy as it is, but we will be perfect when together we lend credence and support to the institutions in charge to come up with the challenges and support them to implement a violent, free and credible election. So I ask all stakeholders to have confidence and trust in the institutions, working be it the police administration, the electoral commission, every institution that have duty to play on the electoral rule, we should give them the support. When we identify any challenges, we shouldn't take it as a manipulation. We should take it as a genuine mistake that when present before the authority, they can resolve it. With that, we can move forward as a country.
The National Democratic Congress is this afternoon meeting the Electoral Commission to present some irregularities identified in the provisional voter register. The NDC, we know, raised alarm about significant discrepancies in the electoral roll following the recent voter exhibition exercise. Among their concerns is the alleged illegal transfer of over 30 votes from Tamale South to Sagnerugu constituency in Pusiga. Now, the NDC requested an urgent meeting with the EC and demanded a live telecast of the deliberation. But ahead of that meeting, the EC has, in a letter to the party, ruled out any possibility of a live telecast of their deliberation. Let's go now live to the EC headquarters. My colleague James Aveji is on standby. James, we understand the meeting is supposed to start at 2 p.m. Has the NDC arrived yet?
Yes, Fosti. So we saw the Director of Elections for the NDC, Dr. Bawumia, some few minutes ago arrived and made his way to the Electoral Commission's office. And the signal is that as the EC has planned, and he has been here just a few minutes to 2. And so the hope is that by 2 o'clock, as we speak, that meeting, without any hindrance, should have started by now. And so the NDC is here, and we are looking forward to quite a busy hours in front of us, depending on what happens in that meeting, Fosti.
Through some of the concerns raised by the NDC, we know about the illegal transfer of some 38 votes from Tamale South to Sagnerugu, now which the EC, we know, has also admitted. What else has the NDC been saying?
So, Fosti, 3 key concerns. One is the fact that there had been some missing names on the provisional voter register given to the political parties to monitor the just ended verification exercise, which means that some persons have registered in various polling stations across the constituencies, but when they made their ways to the polling stations to check their names, they could not find their names in the register. That is one of the key concerns the NDC has raised. Another concern is the misplaced qualified voters. Now, we know that the EC did what we call the special voters register as well for persons who may not be able to vote on the 7th of December to do their voting earlier before the general voting date. Some people who have not gone to transfer their names from the general register into the special voter register have seen their names made its way into the special voter register, which would mean that they might have not known that their names are there. They will be waiting on the 7th of December to go cast their vote, only for them to go and their names will not be there, or their names will be in the special voter register and they may not turn out on that particular voting date. And so that's the second concern. The other one involves the unresolved disqualified names. We know that the EC also gave the political parties as well as every Ghanaian to challenge or contest the eligibility of voters during the limited voter registration or the exhibition exercise. If you know that someone is not 18 years to register or is disqualified in any way but founds their name in the voter register, you can petition that. And the party says that they have petitioned some of those names in various polling stations across the country, which would mean that after this contest petition, the Electoral Commission is supposed to remove some of these names or disqualified names from the voter register, but from their checks, those names are still on the voter register. And so those are the three key concerns, apart from the what they describe as illegal transfer of voters from one constituency or polling station to the other. Those are the three key concerns they have raised so far, for which they are going into that meeting with.
James, I know that Codeo says it also made similar findings. Tell us more about that.
Yes, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers have also, in a similar communique, mentioned the fact that they have identified some sort of irregularities in the provisional voter register as well. Details of that they have not been able to share into detail, like the NDC, have taken their time to itemize them. They haven't shared that with us yet, but we're hoping that maybe in the next IPAC meeting they would also go further to raise those key concerns. But essentially what they are saying is that matters of these irregularities are not things that the EC should take for granted, urging the EC to take steps to listen to the parties involved, including themselves, and find how they would find answers or solutions to that as we move forward, as the days draw nearer and tensions get higher, preparing for the December elections.
As we wrap up, James, we know that the meeting between the EC and the NDC would be behind closed doors, but what should we expect from this meeting?
Well, just some few days ago, the Electoral Commission itself have been admitting to some of these irregularities. For instance, in the case of the concern that the NDC raised about the Sanerugu constituency as well as Tamale South, where some votes have been transferred to Pusiga constituency. The EC told us in the last press briefing that they have done some investigations and have found out that a total of 38 names have been transferred illegally, and the fact that they have interdicted their electoral commissioner at that constituency pending further investigations into the matter. In the case of Ejumaku Enyanesien, the EC also told us that they found out that over 3,000 names have been transferred. Now, before someone makes a transfer of his or her name from one point to the other, it will involve the person's presence at the EC's district office to make that a transfer. But the EC says they do not know how this happened. Their preliminary investigation shows that the officials who might have undertaken this exercise might have used the people's image to represent them to do this. And so we are looking forward to, apart from the NDC's concern, what level of assurance is the EC giving the NDC as well as all concerned parties on this particular irregularities, as well as a proper roadmap on how these concerns would be addressed. The NDC says that you need to take these names out. Some school of thought are also of the view that it will not be easy for the EC to do this within this time before we approach the December elections. Will the NDC compromise on their positions or any of the positions they've taken so far? Those we are expecting to come out of the meeting, depending on how the conversation goes. We know that the EC has already ruled out any possibility of a live telecast, one of the requests from the NDC. We don't know what the agreement would be based on the other request, but we're looking forward to a clearer roadmap moving forward towards the December elections, which the NDC may accept or may reject. And so we look forward to how that pans out at this particular meeting, Fosti.
James Aveji. Now, time for our voters' voice. Today, we take you to New Plan Station here in Accra, where prospective voters have been sharing what will influence their choice coming December 7. Let's listen.
Say last 4 years no omuka say ebia se yeto abana so omu wi ni a emabunu no wa wunye edwuma na yebe ma edwuma ye so yeto abana omu wi na ye no oma ma edwuma bia o ka say ebia uhia emmoa na se oba obeboa so me na me hu ni say ase omu a wonimu omu kwa na oboa omu bai se ebia wonimu a ommoa enti me this year de me nto aba me kura me nkopo na makoto aba eno ano no
me free education SHS no me ba ko bi enti me nya benefit wom se me manti me anko bi a me nya benefit wom esan se me mam ye no mu nyina ko bi enti se me ba ko bi na obi aba ade ade esumbo eye nikade na efe na hyenku na hye ni monyam se ya ba ede na eche se me san enkoto abanfama no me nto aba no emfa ma obi fufuro Bawumia ena beto de ama no se me tuma mahame ho ma se mi vote esan se woni mu apapa bi ode bebo oman o mu apapa ode bebo oman na enka 4 years ye da sumu no enka boa enko focus to gui hairdresser for nya adwuma tailor for ntimi mpama de e enti light of wa e course so like
no ebesi 2004 me hu se party mienu pe kwana omudi oman so ana party mienu so omudi oman so no katahye ne proye no so mi hu se asesa eti no 7th December a peaceful election. Yes, Ghana for be a peaceful election. But a banner there, the Mahuni there, the Cotua, men can name the Metuamano, and one no.
Yeah, the Umunu Gunson, yes, so they are. It's a Merco MPP side. Because over in terms of infrastructure, road sector, education sector, I mean, who say our bomb more than NDC, previous government, they chair muno. Inti MPP na metro man. Na obi say NDC ni say die enti na akoto aba ma NDC a. Woni bibi aka dokono bo ayeden. Omo de ese dokono nko na ne bo ayeden wo Ghana omu de omutimi ka. Be yere ye wodni am ebetimi de ensa a kire so se die na NDC ba ya oye ya obi oti village e dai ba akokola onya so mfa so a omu ntimi nkire bi. Timi di school aba even the whole Ghana ba bia your health insurance e cover baby ni nyina ye MPP government ti ne pade ebi wo ye ya ba num dan NDC nti wona wo se eto aba ne kono mutimi de more e de breye na o man ni timi konani
na china ye twafe ye twa bebre ntimi nkoto aba no obi ne komde na aburo ba ko aka no ode ho kom no e ko chinchi wiawe na china komade no me to amade wo dua na china manya roba ade bi agudam de man chirima ntimi pa cho Ghana fo aba na ye toro ye ma yani na ho mahama betena so sabi mpanyin si ebesi so anka ehye oma ana ye nyina subontim ntete ntasu mfa hohore ye nsan this
MPP aban mentai MPP ba MPP for air frosters MPP aban air froster me mpa obi a air froster nti aban na ma aban na me mpa aban na sem me heti MPP ba aban na oteso no aban air froster even journalists for do ye mokra enye mamon trase mamon ka dem.
Now, flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has taken his campaign to the Ayawaso West Wuogon, Adentan and Medina constituencies in the Greater Accra region. This is to enable him to connect with the people in line with his constituency-focused nationwide campaign tour. My colleague Kenneth Jesse reports that he has so far visited the Santa Market at Tesano. Speaking at a stakeholder engagement in Ayawaso West Wuogon, Dr. Bawumia maintained that his administration, if given the nod, will continue to use his digitalization agenda as a tool for job creation. Kenneth Jesse is with the team. He joins us live with more. Kenneth, what else can you report?
Where has a very packed campaign activities today from Limpasam, where he finished speaking a while ago. He's expected to make a stop at the Accra College of Education to participate in what they call Bawumia Youth Connect. And then from there, he will have a meet and greet at School Junction. And then he will also participate in Juma prayers at the Central Mosque. And then he's also expected to make stops at the Victory Presbyterian Church at Bafraha, and also at the Central Pentecost Church at Oyarefa. And then he's also going to have another meet and greet at Zongo Junction through Medina Zongo, and will climax the day at the Bauleshi Park at Bauleshi. So his message is centered around digitalization and the achievements under the NDC government at the Accra College of Education. He's expected to tell the students there that free education has come to stay. If they are voted into power again, they will continue with the good work that President Akufo-Addo is doing. And then that the digitalization will help create jobs in its next administration, reduce corruption, and also introduce a number of interventions to mitigate the plight of Guinea.
Well, Kenneth, we know that the Chief of Staff, Frimal Selpare, is with Dr. Bawumia and has been engaged in party faithfuls. What did she say?
Well, the Chief of Staff has also been rephrasing what Dr. Bawumia has been telling them. He says that we've seen the Vice President, we've seen the NDC flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, the President before for 4 years. He did virtually nothing in that 4 years. We were sleeping in darkness, what is probably called doomsday. So if we give the nod to Mahama again, we just have 4 years to rule the country, which in essence to have nothing new to bring on board. And Dr. Bawumia is a new person, and even while as the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, according to the Chief of Staff, has introduced about 33 policies. So between him and then the former President, John Dramani Mahama, who is also the flag bearer of the NDC, she sees that Dr. Bawumia is the right candidate to lead Ghana into 2025 and beyond.
And what more should we expect in the course of the day?
Well, you should expect Dr. Bawumia make stops at the places that I mentioned: Victory Presby Church at Prapraha, Central Pentecost Church at Agarifa, and then have another meet and greet at Zongo Junction, and we'll pass through Medina Zongo, and then we'll climax the campaign for the day at the Bawumia Park at Bawumia.
Thank you, Kenneth Jesse, there joining us. He is embedded with Dr. Bawumia campaign team and they're touring part of the Greater Accra region. Let's stay with the NPP because the governing New Patriotic Party's presidential campaign team is facing criticism from the NDC's minority in Parliament for using the Foreign Affairs Ministry to send out invitations for diplomats to a meeting. The Bawumia campaign team had requested to meet with diplomats resident in the country, but the invitation letter was sent through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Well, Not Tong MP and former minority spokesperson on foreign affairs says the development is a breach of diplomatic protocols and an abuse of the Foreign Affairs Ministry for political gain. He says his side will push to have the Foreign Affairs Minister dragged before Parliament to answer questions.
This has never happened in the entire history of Ghana. You do not reduce Ghana's foreign ministry to an appendage of a political party. You do not do that. It is totally abominable. It is reprehensible. It is absolutely unacceptable. It flies against diplomatic protocols. It flies against the credibility of state institutions. No least an institution than the foreign ministry. It is not done. Look, there is nothing wrong with a campaign inviting diplomats to have an interaction with them. We all do that. The last NDC manifesto launch, we invited diplomats. We did that directly. So let your party directly invite the diplomats. You do not instruct the foreign minister. And if you look at the letter states that at the instance of the Bawumia campaign diplomatic liaison team. I mean, so is the foreign ministry now telling us that with this precedent, the NDC can also write to them and tell them, organize the diplomats for us, we want to meet you, want to meet them. The CPP writes, Nana Bediaku and co. write to the foreign ministry that Nana Bediaku wants to have an interaction with the diplomats. So foreign ministry, invite them. You don't do that. I mean, the diplomats who have received these letters are totally disgusted. They are appalled. They are asking, I mean, when did Ghana sink this low? Because this doesn't happen. No country does this. They have never seen this before. We are protesting, and we are going to summon the foreign minister. She must tell us how this happened. Did she endorse this? Did she approve this? If she didn't, how is she going to investigate this, find out the officials who have reduced our foreign ministry into such disrepute? What will be the sanctions and what measures will be put in place to forestall this? This is horrendous. You don't do that. It is so disgraceful. You are lowering our image in the Committee of Nations. It is not done anywhere. It has never happened. Look, the credibility, the high stature of Ghana's foreign ministry, the ministry that produced a foreign minister who became the first president of the UN General Assembly, a country that has produced a Secretary General of the United Nations, Look at how our foreign ministers are held in high esteem. Look at Honorable Hannah Tete's role at the UN, Dr. Ibn Chambers. You know, even the current foreign minister, is because of our pedigree. That is why she's campaigning to be Commonwealth Secretary General. These things undermine our image in the Committee of Nations. You don't do this. This is abuse of incumbency, abuse of office. And you see, these people want to just bring us to the lowest ebb. You don't do things like this. It is so unfair to the foreign ministry. It's unfair to the officials who work in our foreign service. You don't do this.
While the countdown to the December 7 election is on and parties are still aggressively campaigning either to take over the seat of government or be maintained in power, the campaigns aren't without funny moments. Prince Kwame Kudoga highlights some of them from the campaign trail in this report.
So which one is better, home used or brand new?
Minyanya president. Enti muvote mamia. Mubenya brand new tier rubber president. Na omampenye daradia. Muvote mamna. Na mwanya second hand failed president.
Na obise on the man obeye tier rubber president. It is a president for. Na obiso ye to mana obeye home second hand. I just used a driver. You see, yeah, second hander. And now yeah, adidada ye penisa. We say adidada and so and experience a womb.
Then the 24-hour economy policy of the NDC has been up for discussion.
Hospitality industry, our restaurants, our discotheques, our nightclubs, our hotels, 24/7, 24 hours a day.
Running mate to the flag bearer of the governing NPP, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, says he has a stronger reason why the policy is not feasible. Now the droughts in the northern regions have caused fears of imminent food shortage, but no one knows the cause.
Mama, Bibia ayedin. Omo bad luck nti. Metimi aka say, omo bad luck nti so afi insurance to.
Again, Dr. Bawumia is strongly defending his records as vice president, which he says qualifies him to be the next president.
Ejuma amaye with the 33 policies about Ghana. 33. Oman penyi dada, not even one. On Bakupe only policy. Bakupe only policy. Not one. India footballer. 33-0.
Some people today want to run for president, and so they have quickly pulled themselves back and are washing their hands and behaving as if they were not part of it. All of them, they day inside. When Vice President Bawumia was saying, our economic management team, we have Professor Jambafo.
Prince Kwame Kudoga put that report together. Quite interesting. You can watch it on myjoyonline.com over and over again. You would love it. My name is Faustina Safa, and that's how we wrap up Election Brief for this week. We'll be back same time next week here on Joy News. Have a wonderful day as we enjoy the rest of our programs.